My name is Arin Lindauer, and you're listening to A Life Without Struggle. I'm a wife, a mother of 2 wonderful children, a 2-time best-selling author, and a highly driven and successful entrepreneur. In my 17-plus year career as a mindset and health expert, I know what holds women back from a life you only dream about. Whether you're a CEO, a businesswoman, or executive, I started this podcast because I have been where you are, and I know you want and deserve more out of your life. I believe women are limitless. We just get lost along the way. The process to get you there is the topic and purpose of this podcast. When you understand what you want, you can truly step into a life without struggle. Welcome, and I'm so thankful you're here. Welcome back to another episode. Today we're going to dig into why you should double down on your health when you're stressed. And this topic is for my listeners, but it's also for me. And I wanted to come with this because sometimes I think about just what's going on in my own life, and I think about just the women that I get to serve and impact and the women who may be listening to this podcast. And I just think about what's going on in your world, what's going on in your life. You know, several of you are in very professional positions. Some of you are venturing out into new careers. Some of you own your own businesses and wear multiple hats. Several of you have kiddos. Several of you have grandkids. And I'd like to think that there are things that occur in all of our life, and there's stressors, there's challenges, there's days that go really, really well, and then there's days that you're like, OMG, I should have just stayed in bed. So I want to speak into why when the days are dark, when the days are challenging, why the heck would it even make sense to double down on your health? Now, I'm sure you're sitting here going, okay, Arin, I gotcha. But okay, when I'm stressed though, when I'm really stressed, that's the last thing I'm thinking about. And that's what this message is for. And this message is to help wake you up and to help you realize that you will never regret having your health. You won't, ever. There's not a single workout that I regret doing. There's never a single meal prep that I regret doing or having the fridge stocked and ready to go. I mean, it just makes life so much easier. There's never a conference or self-help book or journal entry or checklist that I have created for myself that I ever regret, because I know this is everything in keeping my head clear, keeping me focused, keeping me on target for what's important, because it's very easy. It's very easy to get stuck in the minutia of what's going on. And I'll tell you too, it's very easy to get, sucked in by some of the politics and things that are going on in our country. And there's never been a more difficult and challenging time in our days that it truly does matter that we are involved and we're putting ourselves forward, that we're representing not only ourselves, our family, our business, the companies that we work for. And it's never been a better time to put the best woman you can possibly be forward. Because here's the thing, if you're listening to this podcast, if you've been following me for a while, you know that you have impact in this world. You know that there are people looking up to you. May not even realize this, but there are other women, there are young kids, there are just your spouse, significant others that truly look up to you, and you probably don't even realize. It was something that I just who would follow me, who would think, oh, this woman. But the thing I know is I was put on this earth to lead and to serve, and especially help women truly step into this woman that they desire to be. But most of us never think it's even possible. And so, of course, challenges are going to come up in our life. And of course, we're going to handle them because we're women and we always figure it out. By God, we always figure it out. So that's what I want to go into today, because stress is inevitable, okay? And it can affect everything. It can be this ripple effect and really challenge our overall well-being. And so in the midst of challenges, it may seem counterintuitive to focus on your health, but it's precisely that during these times that you double down on your well-being, and it becomes this powerful and essential strategy of resilience. Are resilient, okay? You can do anything. So stress can play a significant demand on our physical and mental resources, hands down. I mean, we've all been there. We've all felt the feels, right? And just when we think like, oh man, I couldn't handle one more thing, it's like funny how things just like kind of sneak in there. But by prioritizing your health, you're fortifying your body and mind and really equipping yourself with the energy and strength needed to navigate any stressor that comes your way. It's truly everything to keep your head clear, okay? To keep your mind clear. I guarantee when you're in a season of stress, a season of change, that there's a lot of chatter going on upstairs. There's a lot of chatter that you can't do this. Why do all these bad things happen to me? Or why do challenging things happen to me? Why can't things just go right? And I really want to set you up that when you can think clearly, you will handle these things with more ease and more grace. Also, want to have this buffer against overwhelm. Because, even myself, I can get overwhelmed like the best of them. But having this strong foundation of health acts as this buffer, because you have this good sense of well-being, regular exercise, proper nutrition, sleeping well. This is going to help you work through any of the stressors and just give you that mental clarity to be more stable in your emotions. It doesn't mean we don't have a moment that we really just want to go in the bathroom and cry. It doesn't mean that we don't need to just let these emotions out. Okay, so I do want to speak into that. But you will find yourself navigating things with a little more ease, a little more grace. And I think that would be a good thing for all of us. Also, what can happen when we're in these stressful seasons, it can really cloud how we think. And, I have seen multiple women just in my coaching, and, we get into these moments in these spaces where it's just like, man, I can't get hit with one more thing. And then you do. But here's the thing. When you can really step back and know that your health is in a really good space, that like at least this is going well in my life, right? And that's the cool thing too. I really want to speak into that when you've doubled down on your health and your health is rocking, you truly feel different. So you have just this more sharpened mental clarity. We're able to tackle problems more effectively, and we make better choices, even in the face of stress. This is something that is just wildly important to me, as I never want to make this highly emotional decision. I want absolutely no emotion except for excitement. That would be the only emotion. Like, think about if you had to buy a car out of necessity and it just had to be something that had 4 wheels and the engine runs majority of the time, right? Like that doesn't feel good. But think about going and picking out that dream car. And, I think about purchasing cars, and everybody has a different take on is that enjoyable? Is it not enjoyable? And, is it a terrible investment? Is it not? Listen, if it's what you want, it's the best investment for you personally. But think about that process can be stressful. I will never forget the last time I bought a car. I was buying a car on my own just post-college. And I remembered when I went in and a gentleman asked me, well, is your father going to come? And I was like, I have a job. I know I'm super young. I'm here to buy a car. Like, and it was just wild to me how I got treated. I got treated so poorly. And this is me, back circa, what was that? 21, 22 years old. I literally walked out. I'm like, I don't have to buy a car from you. Screw you. I want to go buy a car from somebody else. And so it was like the first car that I was buying on my own. And it was not a pleasant experience. That's why I'm like, I cannot wait for the next purchase because it's just going to feel great. It's going to be, I've got specifically exactly what I want. I know what I want. And I can't wait for that to just be excitement. Okay. So we think about when we make decisions and you're in high stress. Here's the thing, I will tell you, hold off, okay? Hold off on making decisions when you're not in a good state, okay? You need to do what you can do to breathe, regroup, maybe you need to sleep on it, and then you need to make the objective decision. Is it time to move forward or is it time to pause, okay? Because when you give things a moment and you're non-emotional, and you know the desired outcome that you want, those decisions become very, very easy. Become very easy. It's when we're in high emotion that we question ourselves, we doubt ourselves. Is this the right choice? We waffle. And so I want to encourage you to find this space that you can be very objective and you know what you want. Other things that we want to think about and why we would double down on our health and why we would take care of ourselves during, stressful and difficult times is basically what this is going to do is release good endorphins. And I know this is going to sound so funny, but when you can simply get a walk in, when you can nourish your body well and eat a good balanced diet, when you can get good quality sleep, you get really good endorphins and other mood enhancing chemicals running through your body. And so in turn, this is going to support your emotional well-being and help you manage stress, just the stress, the anxiety, the depression that we can feel, because it's something that all of us, we get those feelings. I used to have my skin crawl all the time until I really started doubling down on my health. I got the weight off my body and man, that was just like, it was just a lift. And it's so funny because Facebook is such a funny tool that we can use. But I look back at memories of just 3 years ago and I'm like, oh my gosh, why didn't anybody tell me I was so big? And I just had no clue. I had a very dysmorphed, like, I'm fine. I just had 2 babies. It's all good. And I just wasn't even in the right frame of mind, but I'll tell you, it was everything when I started really focusing on the right movement, when I started focusing on what do I actually want? What do I desire? I had gotten so stagnant in life. I didn't know what I wanted. I basically had reached every goal that I had set and that my husband and I had set. And that's a dangerous place. When you've hit every goal and you don't stretch yourself, when you don't know what else is possible, gotta start dreaming again. And if anything, hitting those goals should have been proof that like, hey guys, what else do you really want? And instead we got very complacent, very complacent. What we want to think about is really building that resilience muscle. And so when you work out and you take care of yourself and you eat well and you sleep, not only are we getting those good endorphins that I just talked about, but it's helping equip you with this resilience that I got this and I can objectively work through anything. And I think what that in turn does is it gives us this really nice sense of control that no matter what's going on, we know that we can prioritize our health because that's numero uno. That's what's going to at least give you control over one area of your life. And it sends a powerful message. And this is something that I don't think most women understand, is it sends a powerful message that you're taking charge of your well-being, even when circumstances feel overwhelming or you feel like you're not in control. Some things we're just not in control of. Okay. And I think for myself personally, when I know, okay, at least I can take care of this, and I'm like focusing on just my body right now. And I know that I can take care of my mindset. It may not be perfect all day, every day, but I'm going to challenge that whose is. But what we do is we realize that like, okay, at least I feel better than I would if I was eating a bunch of garbage, if I was in and out of a drive-through, right? Like, how you feel when you eat something not so good or you go overboard. And so it's more of that we're being preventive in our own health and not we're not reacting to everything. So focusing on health during a stressful time isn't just reactive, it's very preventive. So we're engaging in health promoting behaviors, and it reduces the risk of then the stress related health issues. I remember that time and space when I wasn't taking care of myself and I had so many autoimmune things showing up, and like I was in and out of doctor's offices. What's wrong with me? Everyone just wanted to give me an antidepressant, and I don't blame them, right? Because I was just a train wreck. And I was my own worst enemy. I wasn't eating food that made me feel better. And honestly, I'm just going to be genuine. It was like a snap of fingers when I finally got really clear on what it is that I wanted. And I started moving all of my actions towards that. Okay. So when you choose health promoting habits over detrimental coping mechanisms, you're sending a positive example of how you handle stress. Okay. So if you keep telling your subconscious mind that you're stressed out and here's what we do, and it doesn't serve you, then that's what you're going to continue to keep doing. It's very interesting, all the behavioral pieces that come into play and what we actually are telling our subconscious mind. And so what we have to do is we have to start acting according to the desire and the want of who we want to become. Because when we start understanding who is this woman, I can remember, absolutely hating the schedule that I had created for myself, right? Like owning your own business, you create your own schedule. You got nobody else to be mad at but you, okay? And, I remember feeling guilty for wanting a different schedule because it meant I wasn't going to serve someone. I remember feeling like I had to train every single client in my gym, unless my husband wasn't training them, right? Because we were the only ones that could do it perfectly. And that's completely false. I can hire the right person who has the right passion and motivation to serve people just like myself, and I can teach them the fundamentals of how to train someone and understand what they need to do and how to work a session and how to, appropriately push someone. And then that frees me up to be able to do the higher level projects, the higher level things that you do need space and time for. That was not something I fully understood. I never understood that because I was a control freak, still am working on this, but it was something to really understand when you know that you have passionate people who care about people just like you do and wanted to see people be successful. And then what that allowed me to do, I had no clue what that was going to do. But it took me having a desire for something different. And I didn't know exactly what it was, just to be honest. I think in that time and space that I were thinking about having kids. And I just was like, there's no way with the hours that I put in physically training that I could ever have a child. And so I started thinking about it. And, big life decisions like that will certainly propel you quicker. I think when women get into this time and space where, there really isn't going to be another big life-changing alteration. But I think we forget and neglect, like, okay, girl, what do you really want? And this is where we have to really get crystal clear on, okay, do you desire, a house in Florida, for example, is something that I really desire to have, or actually, I don't even care where it is. I desire for it to have a beach and to have palm trees. So whether that's Aruba or Florida, or I don't even care. Like, but it's something, and even that shows you right there is I've got to get clearer on what it is that I want. Because right now it shows my unconscious mind that I'm waffling. So I hope you can appreciate hearing just even me working through this is, hey girl, what do you really want? So think about the things, because this is what's going to drive you when you're in these moments of stress and struggle and you're working through this. Or even if you're like, hey, Arin, you know what? This message is cool, but I'm in a good spot. Like, I feel really good. Yes, I have some days that are just better than others, right? But what I want to encourage you is to take the pieces of this message of really getting clear on what's next. Where are we going? What do I desire? And here's the thing, if you feel a little foolish about what you desire, you're on the right track. And we need to multiply by 10 probably. And so what this is going to do is it's going to help us really align these actions. If you had desired to get your body to another level of leanness, or maybe you had more weight that you wanted to lose, or maybe there's a strength goal that you desire and you're like, could I really do this? Could I move this kind of weight? I'm going to tell you, heck yes. Now we need to appropriately progress you through the movements, but it's understanding what's next for you. Never just settle. Like, okay, cool. I lost my 40 pounds. Now we're cool. I really wish this part of my body looked this way. Well, then cool. Let's make it happen, right? And that's what gets so fun about these journeys in health is, first off, take care of you. You'll never regret it. You are more resilient than you realize. And it's not that we have to be resilient. We just are, okay? There's stuff that comes up, and it's all truly a perception of what we believe stress is, okay? I have worked heavily on like no charge. This does not charge me, meaning I don't get frustrated. I don't get sad. Now, by all means, absolutely still have emotions, but my highs are not as high. My lows aren't as low, and I can stay very neutral, or like, man, this kind of sucks, but you know what? It doesn't derail my day. That is the kind of space that we want to get into, where we can objectively step back and be like, okay, I know stuff's hitting the fan right now. I should probably be more stressed out than I am. But you know what? This is the woman that I am now. This is the woman and how I handle things, because I've doubled down on my health. And when I have my health, that helps me navigate anything that comes my way. So I hope this message comes to you at the right moment, in the right time. And I hope if you've been sitting on the fence and saying, I really could use a coach, I really could use some support, I hope this will be the catalyst that says, girl, double down on your health. It is the most important thing you could possibly focus on amidst all the things going on in your life. And I say that because I have walked it, I have felt it. I have gone through some of the most challenging, stressful things that you can go through in your body. And had I not had the level of health, I wouldn't be here. And that was said by a doctor. Sat me down and talked to me and said, listen, we took your health into consideration of how you came in, and we knew that if we just let things progress just a little bit more. And she goes, believe me, we had OR ready for you. And I was like, oh, okay. But I say that not to scare, not to, oh, poor Arin. No, not even close. I say that to empower you, that this has never been a better time to take care of you. If you've been waffling on what you want with your health, let's talk through it. There's so many things that we can do and understand what is blocking you, what is holding you back. There's an entire test that we can go through as far as, okay, what does health mean to you? Why is your health even important to you? Why would you even consider it? And we can work through a list and find out, is there any charge? We can also work through, if there is charge, okay, great. What is that? And how can we let it go? It's a really cool formula. So if you've been thinking about hiring a coach and you've been saying, hey, I know I need some help with this, because most of us know what to do. Objectively, we are smart and intelligent women, but we need the coaching and support. We need the accountability. Hey girl, how you doing? Hey, okay, we're traveling, cool. How do you want to navigate this? What would be a win for you? Okay, here's how I would do this dinner. Here's how I would navigate this meal. Want to have adult beverages? Sweet. Here's how we should navigate this so that we can keep you on your path. But if you find yourself cycling and looping and repeating behaviors that just don't serve you, it's time. It's time to draw the line in the sand. So when you're working through challenges and stress, don't put your health on the sideline. That's the exact time that you've got to double down and take care of you. And if you're in this time and space and you're taking care of yourself, high five. Keep at it, okay? I see you. It's challenging. I got you. I understand. Firsthand, I understand. And there's been so many times that I'm like, I need to go do that workout. I need to go do that workout. And even myself, I'm not motivated to do it. Heck, even today when I'm recording this podcast, I did not want to do my workout. It's full confession. But I was like, you know what? Just get it done. Like, you don't even have to be excited. Just go get it done. And I did. And when it was done, I was like, I actually feel a little better now. So keep taking care of you. If you haven't been focusing on your health, I highly recommend it. You will never regret feeling good, having all the mental clarity in the world. Do things that love and support you. Nourish your body well. So listen, in the whirlwind of stress, doubling down on your health, it isn't a luxury. It's a strategic imperative. By nurturing your physical, mental, and emotional well-being, you're arming yourself with the tools needed to weather any storm, to bounce back, to emerge even stronger. And remember, you're not just surviving, you're thriving through the power of self-care and resilience. Got this, ladies.